Hey, this is Kevin Flerledge with the Flerledge Twins. Today I'm going to be doing some stuff in PowerPoint. I'm going to be bypassing Tableau just for this one video, and we're going to be looking at obscure PowerPoint tips and tricks for dashboards. These are some tricks that I've learned in the last month or so, and a couple people have taught me a couple of them, and we just wanted to share them with you guys. So I'm going to escape out of this, and we're going to get to our first one. The first one is inserting a screenshot. So when I build a dashboard, I often want to provide a how to read section. I do this on my Tableau Public dashboards as well as many of my work dashboards. Here's an example of a how to read. We have this dashboard, and I just have this collapsible container overlay, and I kind of walk through what are all the different aspects of this dashboard. What are all the different charts and aspects showing us. So how I typically do that is take a screenshot of my visualization, and then I bring it into PowerPoint, and then I create that sort of overlay, and then I bring that in as a collapsible container. So if we're in PowerPoint and I have this open in Tableau, all we really need to do is go to Insert, Screenshot, boom, and we're going to drop that screenshot right into PowerPoint. Then I can do my little overlay and export it as an image, and then bring it in as a collapsible container. There's been many times when I've been out searching the font websites for outline fonts because I wanted a font that was an outline, or I wanted to do something with a background. For example, recently I created this Michael B. Jordan movie ratings. It was just a project I was fiddling around with, and I had this sort of gradient color scale, and I wanted to put that color scale in the text. So what I really wanted is to sort of outline text and with a transparent center, and I actually had spent quite a bit of time to do this. I found recently that using a tool that I've used 100 times before, that I can do that, and I don't think I ever really connected the dots. So let's just go to Insert, and we go to Word Art. You probably used that before, but there are these outline texts. So let me just put that in here. I'm going to go to Home and make that a little bit bigger, and I'm going to just say Michael B. Jordan for now. Stretch that across. One thing I don't think I ever realized was I can select this and I can make it any font I want. So let's say, for example, Avenir, right? I can make that font whatever I want. I can make it Futura. I can make it whatever font. The nice thing I can do, if I go to Format, I can go to Text Fill and select No Fill. So all of a sudden this thing has a transparent center. Then I could go up here and maybe do an eyedropper for the background, and maybe just make this outline black or something like that. Now I could float this over a transparent background or a gradient background or something like that, and I can make those letters a lot easier. Nice thing about this word art is it's very artistic, so you can do these sort of crosshatch fills and things like that. You can even have this really cool, reflection look. So lots of cool things you can do with word art. I just don't think I ever connected the dots that I can make it whatever font I want, and I can also do outline fonts, which is something I'd like to do many times. You can actually do layers in PowerPoint as well. This is something I did not know until Autumn Botani told me about it, and it's really handy. So let's do this. Let's insert a shape. We'll put a square out here, and I didn't pick a square. Try it again. Put the square out here, and then I'm going to copy it and throw another one out there, and we'll just change the formatting to orange. Okay. So now we have this text box, we have this blue square, and this orange square. Now I can right click and say send to the back, and then right click and send to the front. So there's some level of layering, but if we go to the Home tab and then we go to Arrange and go to Selection pane, we now have these 3 layers in this pane. And so this orange rectangle apparently is called Rectangle 7, and I can move around those layers. I can actually look at, I think, Rectangle 7, and I can actually hide it for the moment as I work on something else, and then I can show it again. I can even rename these things if I want. So Really handy if you like to work with layers. It'll make things a lot easier, especially if you can just get rid of them. To be honest, you can get rid of them all or show them all. It's a really, really nice tip to work with layers in PowerPoint. Another little trick that Autumn showed me is that you can merge shapes and you can trim shapes. I had no idea you could do that. So let's just, for example, put in a couple of circles here. It's one little tip that if you press and hold Shift, so if I don't hold Shift, it'll get this sort of oval look, but if you hold Shift, it'll keep an aspect ratio of 1:1. So nice to know. I'll delete that and start over. So we have these two shapes here. If I select them both, I can come up here to merge shapes. And I can union them. That just turned that thing into one shape. I can combine them, which means it's going to kind of trim that center. I can intersect them, which is going to only leave the center. I can subtract one piece, and it'll subtract based on how you selected it. So if I select this one first and then that one, subtract should show this one and get rid of that one. So lots of cool little things you can do to trim shapes and make your life a heck of a lot easier. Smart Art is really cool too. This is something I've never really used, but boy, it could save all kinds of time. So if we go to Insert, Smart Art, there's all kinds of cool things for my transparent images and shapes blog post and Tableau Public Workbook. I used this hex design. Well, we could actually bring in a hex design with very, very little work. Get rid of that. There's all kinds of things you can do in here with Smart Art. Something I thought was kind of nice looking was this. It's kind of a nice little design here. I accidentally select that. I can bring in an image here. Throw my face on there. We can change the colors really simply here, so make them bright. We can do all these kind of rotations and 3D looks and different designs. So lots of cool little things that you can do with Smart Art. So, and if you just check it out, there's tons of stuff in here, all kinds of things. Really good for PowerPoint presentations, but also really cool for some graphics that you might use in Tableau. Again, in PowerPoint, if you have an image like this, all you do is select the thing, right click, save as picture, and you bring it into Tableau. I often like to use different background looks in Tableau for work dashboards. I do it for videos that we create to show how to use our dashboards. This is really simple. If I go to File, New, we got these templates here. There's a couple of them that I absolutely love and I use all the time. The Celestial is one of them. You can see how beautiful that is. I use that in a lot of PowerPoint presentations. We actually use this in our tutorial videos at work. But all we got to do is, go into that. I'll come back, throw this thing into full view, and we just take a screenshot of it. And then you can bring that image into PowerPoint, or excuse me, into Tableau and use it as a background image. So really cool. You can bring in images or shapes and you can actually stretch them. So what I'm going to do is, as an example, is bring in a half circle and rotate that around. And what we're going to do is quickly change this into sort of an airplane rudder, or maybe more of like a shark fin. So if we go to Edit Shape and we click on Edit Points, we get these 4 points that we can stretch. So I can start stretching these in certain ways. And without too much work, we basically have an airplane rudder or a shark fin. So lots of cool different things. You can kind of just keep doing this and make this shape kind of whatever you want. So if you pick the right shape to start, you can do all kinds of cool things with the Edit Points function. If you don't like to do a lot of image editing, you can actually remove the backgrounds of pretty simple items really, really quickly in PowerPoint. So as an example, I'll bring in a picture. I'll pick this yellow one so it's nice and bright. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. This is from Tableau Conference. I kind of edited the background, but if we come up here, or if we select the picture and just come up to Format and Remove Background, click Remove Background, ask you what area you want to remove, or you want to keep. So I'm just going to kind of pick my general face, click outside of that. It did screw up a little piece here. If we undo that, I might be able to get that a little bit better, but yeah, it seems like it's not being perfect here, but with a little bit of work, you can get a pretty clean picture with the background completely removed. So pretty nice little tool. I'm going to bring the same exact photo, and we're going to talk about colors and effects. You probably knew this existed, but it can allow you to do some really quick edits here. You can come to corrections. You can control the brightness or the contrast. You can soften and sharpen these edges. It's pretty nice quick fixes. You can change the color. You wanted this to be blue or green. That looks pretty cool, almost like a sepia look here. You can do all kinds of different variations of this, and you can also include artistic effects like these kind of gridded look, like this Lego look, or kind of a dot plot or something like that, and kind of a stencil drawing or something like that. So pretty neat little effects that you can do really quickly in PowerPoint. All right, last one I'm going to show is storyboarding images. This is something that I've never touched in PowerPoint and just kind of found it playing around, and it's super handy. So if we go to the storyboarding menu, there's lots of things you can do with storyboarding, but I am going to talk about just storyboard shapes. So if we come into storyboard shapes, there's all kinds of shapes that you can insert directly into PowerPoint, and then you could save them as images and bring them into your dashboard. Recently, I created a visualization on Street Fighter, the game, and I used a remote control. I found it on the Noun project, but if you don't have a Noun project subscription, you can get a game controller straight from here. So we just click on that icon. We get a really high-res image icon of a remote control. There's all kinds of things. There's movie cameras here. There's regular cameras here. So all kinds of cool little things that you can use in your visualizations. Here's the Earth. I thought that was pretty cool as well. There's also lots of Windows options as well. I noticed this, a map marker. That's pretty nice. I've used those in the past. Wi-Fi signals. What I noticed up here was a picture of the Start menu. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And I think I can actually search this. Yep, and something I saw before was a keyboard. So lots of cool things that you can insert into PowerPoint and then just bring them into your Tableau dashboards just by saving them as images. So if you don't have an account for one of these sites that give you icons, this is a really great place to start. All right, that's really all I've got for everybody. I appreciate your time. Again, if you want to check us out on the Flurlage Twins, we have lots of Tableau and some PowerPoint focused blogs. Check us out. Thanks a lot.